Hey guys, sorry if this is a little wobbly. I'm holding it with one hand and I'm not that talented. Anyways, I just want to stop by and say happy Thursday. Um, I want to point out that today's June 16th. And on June 16th, 1858, the Republican Party nominated Abraham Lincoln for the Senate. And a quote he said on this day was amongst a, a house divided amongst ourselves is not united. Sorry, I kind of got lost there. But a house divided amongst ourselves is not united. And we all know that Abraham Lincoln was all about resolving the issue of slavery. Sadly, I still see, after all these hundreds of years or whatever, that our country, this world is divided. It's divided in so many ways, whether it's religious beliefs or sexuality or race, color, heritage, whatever. We're still divided. And you'd think after all this time that we would just learn to be better people than we were 100 years ago, better people than we were yesterday, and treat others like we want to be treated. So when I just happened to look up what happened today on June 16th, that is the quote that popped up from Abraham Lincoln. He stressed this hundreds of years ago, or 100 years ago, whatever, 150 years ago. He stressed this back then, and we're still seeing these stupid things happening in our world. We need to all be united for humanity in itself. We all need to try to get along and push aside our differences so we can prosper as people, so our children can prosper, so our grandchildren can prosper and live in a world different from what we maybe have been raised in, or different from 100 years ago. So when I seen that quote, I felt even on a more personal level also, because I've seen so much in the last few years of division amongst people. I see people fighting about religion. Well, my belief is right, your belief is wrong. I see people arguing about gay and straight, and I see people arguing about race, and I see people arguing about beliefs. And you believe this way and I believe that way, so we can't be friends. You're gay and I'm straight, we can't be friends. What the hell, people? I just can't fathom it. No matter what somebody's belief system is, no matter what their religion, their race, their sexuality is, I look at people for how they treat me, and I treat them back with that same respect. So no matter what your life is or your lifestyle is, as long as you're nice to me, I will be nice back. And that's how our country should be rolling. That's how the world should be rolling. We should be there for one another no matter what our belief system is, no matter what color we are or where we come from, no matter what sexuality, no matter if you're gay, straight, green, purple, Catholic, Protestant, spiritual. That's what we're here for, is to be one. And Abe Lincoln said it best. I understand his quote was more for slavery at the time, but that quote still stands. It just floors me that people can't be more open-minded. Just because you don't believe the same way as someone else does not mean that person is a bad person, and it doesn't mean you're a bad person. We're adults. We need to come to an understanding that it's okay to disagree, but still treat that person with some dignity and integrity. That's what life's about, is just being kind to your fellow man, fellow woman, fellow animal. I mean, seriously. So after I got that little rant out of the way, my next thing I want to talk about is that, matter of fact, I had this conversation this morning with someone, but I've had this conversation quite a few times in the last couple of weeks. People telling me their little spiritual stories, like I sat my perfume down on my dresser. I got up the next morning, I couldn't find it. It had been moved in my closet, and I'm thinking, how did it get in there? Or I get vibes up my right side sometimes and I don't know where it's coming from. I'll just have the hair will stand straight up on my right side, but my left side is perfectly normal. I want to point out something. The more you kind of get back to your roots and your intuition and your natural instinct that God gave you, you will notice that you will start seeing signs and symbols and different things from the universe or God or however you want to look at it, however you believe. So I want to point something out, and you guys can try this experiment or whatever, survey, whatever you want to do. So the next time you're like doing something and you get chills all on one side of your body, but the left or right side, the opposite side is no goosebumps, no hair standing up, but one side has the hair standing up or has like goosebumps on it, pay attention to what pops in your mind during that time. Oftentimes when you get that hair-raising goosebumps on one side of your body, it means that a loved one from heaven is visiting you or standing near you, their energy. You're picking up their energy. You're picking them up. So if you just stand in the moment when you feel that, what first comes to mind? Is it a person's name or a feeling it's grandma? Or is it a feeling that something's off or whatever? Just focus on that for a minute. Just stand in the moment, and whatever comes to mind is usually what is right. So if all of a sudden you're standing there and you get this weird, while you're peeling potatoes, you get this weird vibe up your right side of your arm and there's goosebumps, the hair standing up, you're like, whoa, Joe popped in my head. That is probably your friend Joe who passed away, or your dad's name might have been Joe who passed away. That's them letting you know, hey, I'm right here. Because you will always have that connection with your loved one, whether they're in heaven or maybe still on this earth but hundreds of miles away. Our souls are always connected. So of course you're going to be able to pick up those feelings still, even though they're not physically here, they're spiritually here, and you're still going to be able to pick up those feelings of if they were really standing beside you and you felt comfortable and safe with your dad or your mom or your best friend, like they were really standing there physically. So next time you get this weird vibe of maybe one side of your leg or face or arm, just what pops in your head, and go with that. Because your instincts, your natural God-given spiritual instincts still work, even though sometimes we've been made to be taught this way or that way, and that's not true. That can't happen. Spirits don't exist, or what have you. Try to clear out that belief system and start from scratch. And I guarantee that once you notice this vibe you might get up one side, and Joe or whoever pops in your head, that once you acknowledge, okay, hey Joe, I know you're here, or hey so-and-so, I know you're here. Once you acknowledge that, you'll start noticing it happening more often. You'll know that feeling of who that person is that's beside you. You will notice things, signs and symbols more. And you'll know that familiar feeling. So say your grandma, you know that feeling she made you feel, right? As you were growing up, that she loved you unconditionally and spoiled the hell out of you. You might feel that when that hair stands up on your right side. And if you feel that in your head, like, whoa, this feels like my grandma. It's more of like a feeling, I guess, than a knowing maybe. So when you feel that and it reminds you of grandma and it pops in your head, that is your grandma standing right there next to you. Even though you can't see her physically, she's beside you. And once you become familiar with that feeling, anytime grandma pops in, you'll know instantly that's grandma. Or maybe this time, the next time you get goosebumps over your arm, oh, that's Joe, my friend Joe. That feels like Joe, I feel Joe. Then that's going to be Joe. And when you get familiar with those feelings of how each loved one in heaven or on the other side feels, you'll know which spirit is standing by you. And oftentimes they're standing by you either because you're going through something very hard, they want you to know they have your back, or they're just down here to visit and say, hey, I'm right here. I'm always right here, buddy. So next time you feel that, pay attention to what first pops in your head, and hell, make a little journal of it when you feel it and where you were at the time when you felt it. So you can keep track of all these people that you once loved or still loved, but they're on the other side, come and visit. Because I guarantee once you notice this and you figure out and you acknowledge, hey, I know you're there, Grandma. Thanks for stopping by. I love you too and I miss you. It'll start happening more and more. This is how I pick up on people. This is how I pick on people who've passed. This is how I know who's with me, who's standing by me. And sometimes in my own personal life, I will get vibes up my legs or my arms or in my face, even if it's your loved one. And I can feel that feeling like, okay, this is not my family. This is so-and-so's family. I can feel them. They're showing me things or whatever. That's how I'm able to hone in on your loved ones also, is because of from what you've said about them, I feel that. It's so hard to describe. But anyways, so just do that next time you get those hair-raising feelings on one side. Pay attention to what's up here. You might not hear a name, but you will feel this is Grandma. Feel this is Joe. And it usually pops in instantly when you get them vibes. Pay attention. Because the more you notice them things, the more aware you become of energy and spirit that is around you. And it's a cool feeling just to know that they're there and they have your back, or they're just stopping by to say, hey, kiddo, miss you. So with that said, happy Thursday, June 16th. And remember, a country, or I guess people in the same home, kind of like the same home, that are divided amongst themselves can never be united. Because that goes not only for the world as a whole, it also goes for our own personal lives. So stop being judgmental and stop putting people down for their beliefs or the way they live their life. Because they're human, you're human, and we're all here to experience things and learn things. And knowledge is key to a lot of changes we've seen. And the more you learn about a way a person lives or the way they believe, it helps you to have an understanding of, okay, I get that. And if you don't agree with the way they live or the way they believe, that's okay. You can still be a human and be nice to that person. Doesn't mean you have to go to church with them, or it doesn't mean you're in their house behind closed doors. Just be human and treat others the way you want to be treated. That is important. Not only for a human experience, but for a spiritual experience also. Okay, happy Thursday. Believe, believe, believe. Always believe in yourself. And I think I'm going to have maybe a video later tonight. If I'm not too busy, I'll upload. It has to do with some more of the research maybe, or more of the spiritual or religious aspect of stuff that I've talked about in the past. All right. Love y'all. Bye-bye.